Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classics. This is episode number 1356 and the 1250th Doubleshot. Now, the first trade I want to discuss is the pendulum trade of this writer's run. The other one, it's the final trade of the series, and I'll get to my problems with the series ending. Alright, first up it is Spider-Woman, Shifting Gears Volume 2, Civil War 2. When you see it like, damn, not this crossover again. At least it's not as hated as, let's say, Secret Empire. Yeah, people might not like this crossover. It wasn't as hated as Secret Empire. Yeah, I think the hatred toward that one was worse than this. Now, despite having a Civil War 2 tie-in, did it really interrupt the story at all? Not really, no. It just basically does other stuff here. For one thing, this goes on about 2 issues, unlike in the case of Scarlet Witch, where it was 1 issue of the comic that dealt with Civil War 2, and just dealt with Quicksilver trying to kill his own sister by accident. Yep. This book collects issues 8 through 12 of Spider-Woman, Volume 6. Excuse me. Now, with this book here, we have a slightly different thing. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, with the last trade going to issue 5, where's issue 6 and 7? Well, Spider-Women. Yep, this comes right after that. Yep, still with Dennis Hopeless as the writer of the book. Yeah, these are the second last trade of the collected issues, right? And Javier Rodriguez, who does pretty much basically all the issues. Well, he does issues 8 through 11. And 11 by Veronica Fish, and 12 is by Todd Walker. The first issue is simply put Spider-Woman versus Tiger Shark. I love this cover here. It's so freaking good. Yep. These two fight each other. Meanwhile, though, while she's fighting Tiger Shark, she's also having a phone call with her boyfriend, the Porcupine, trying to find what diapers are and find clean safe clothes for him. And, of course, they eventually do, and that's that. 9 through 10. Oh boy, 9 through 10. Here's the thing with these issues. It's the Civil War 2 tie-in. Yep. Now you're probably thinking, on the cover, okay, you see Jessica Drew, you see Carol Danvers. They're in this issue. Is Iron Man in these issues? No. No, he doesn't. He does not make an appearance at all. First, he did with Jessica on vacation with her boyfriend, who, by the way, they actually have it where, like one morning, like, where in the world is her son? Now, you're probably thinking, where's her son? Probably someone's babysitting him. Yeah, and meanwhile, though, while she's basically here with Roger, that's the Porcupine, we have Civil War 2 number 1 happening. Yeah, see this Celestial showed up here? That happened back in the first issue of the series. So this issue kind of takes place during that. Basically, if you wonder why Jessica Drew was not in this battle sequence, she's basically here on vacation. And they make the public this thing smoked meat. And when they're here, basically, oh, that's basically like... And Roger finds out that smoked meat is actually... Get this. Humans. Yes. And of course, they're in Canada, and of course, they beat up these creatures. And lucky enough, they're stopped by Captain Marvel. Yep, she shows up. They start fighting, and of course, they start arguing with each other. And she's like, "You and your dumb powder blue ski suits." And Jessica's like, "My ski suit's awesome." Whatever. You said we could talk when you finished the job, so I finished it. You had no right. Right, God forbid, stick my nose into your stunk a wrestling. And of course, she gets a phone call from her boyfriend. Rod, you got a minute? Go ahead, Rod. Just really. Here's the hell we got a minute. And, well, he's battling a bunch of Wendigos. Yep, bunch of Wendigos. And they defeat him, and basically, then she debriefs him what's been going on in the main Civil War 2 book. Ulysses. Yes, the Inhuman who basically started the whole nonsense that was Civil War 2. Who, by the way, after the event was over with, was never heard from again. It's been 5 years since this crossover came out, and unlike with Civil War 1, which did have some ramifications afterwards, Civil War 2 had very little. like Carol Danvers was basically the reception toward her writing was very negative. People hated the way she was written in the story. She was worse in Secret Empire. So she points out Ulysses has been accurate when it comes to the big predictions. The small ones, not exactly, no. So eventually they agreed to work together for these 2 issues. And, well, they battle like the Melter, Porcupine helps around, and it's a fun standalone issue, despite being a Civil War II tie-in. And also the team up with the Humans, which is quite nice. And then Civil War number 2 happens with the death of the Hulk, killed by Hawkeye. And that happened in the issue 10. I forgot, it was another issue. Forgot about that. Now, this issue basically deals with the ramifications of what happened in that issue. Jessica, to be upset, basically beats the crap out of, well, much computers. Figure out what the heck happened here. So eventually, she and the Porcupine work together to break into the Alpha Flight space station. Yes, the Alpha Flight space station. And of course, Carol and Jess get into a fight. A big brawl happens over the station. And of course, Carol is telling people, like, stand down, she's not a threat, weapons holstered. And then, of course, like, because, well, Jessica Drew is not a threat. Because she's the godmother of her child. Because, well, Carol's her child's godmother. Jessica Drew's godmother. Well, Carrie's godmother. So, basically, their friendship is shattered. And the final issue has nothing much to do with Jessica Drew at all. Nope. It's mostly her being a supporting character on issue. Yep. The big thing with this issue is the Porcupine versus the Sandman, Flint Marko. Yep. And they brawl the whole issue. And meanwhile, though, Jess is basically watching over her baby, Gary, and of course, well, and, well, then we have Jess also watching Roger's daughter, Kaylee, adorable little girl. And, of course, in a flashback when Jessica was still pregnant with Gary. And remember, and basically in the conversation, he remembered that sand is weak as electricity. So, he picks up electrical wire, like I think he's wearing rubber gloves, and he shocks Sandman. He's like, William Backer, a.k.a. Sandman, is ability to transform into sand, sentient sand or salmon rock. The ability, it basically gives his explanation. Something known as extreme heat electricity turns sand into glass. And of course, he comes back like, job well done. He also pointed out before he put the suit on, it's going to be hot wearing that suit because basically it's a big furry suit. And the thing ends with basically, oh, Sandman trapped in ice. Or trapped in glass, per se. He's not sitting here for a little bit. I think he shows up next. I think one of his next experiences was actually in pages of, I think it was Black Spider-Man. I think it was, yes. And he also mentioned that he had just fought the Miles Morales Spider-Man. He was like, oh yeah, I fought the other Spider-Man. Now, my guess is that this is probably what he did with him off panel or something. I don't remember when that happened at this period of time. But this book is pretty good. Excuse me. And here's the thing. Civil War II is happening in the background of these issues. Basically, it's just Jessica reacting to a lot of the stuff. And despite the fact she gets fight with Carol, they do try to I think they do reconcile by the end of the book. I'm not sure. Because this book doesn't last much longer after this. Because right after Civil War time, you're probably thinking, oh, wait, because Civil War II was one of those things where we have to have half the frickin' books tie-ins would get canceled with either the issue tied into the crossover or just not long afterwards, like within like a month or two. This book managed to last for another 5 issues before ending. Yes, 5 issues. I give this book a 9 out of 10. It's a pretty good book. Next up is a book that I felt as though should not have been canceled, but it was. We have the second and last trade to collect issues from Asgardians of the Galaxy. Volume 2, War of the Realms. Written by Cullen Bunn. Artwork by 4 different artists in these issues. This 7 had 2 issues on it. You have 6 basically just on Matt Baffardi, but Piggy, who also does issue 7 with Safael Loney. Of course, you have Mado Lowley does issue 8. Paulo Validi does issue 9. And 10 is done by Luca Marcia. Yep. With these issues, it's mostly put basically them dealing with what happened at the end of the last book. There's no Armada here. It's just basically them like getting in a lot of fights. But this is just pure fun. They basically take on the frickin'... Like, they go to this planet, which apparently has these people living on it. And it turns out it's actually Ego. Yes, Ego, the living planet. I'll buy some materials. Oh, yeah, by the way, they run into a group of people, which basically they're just here for a visit. And they come across Yondu, Aura, Torgo, Pip the Troll, Cammy, and Planet Terry. Now, interesting thing comes to these two characters right here. Cammy and Planet Terry. The last time they were seen was back at the Drax title by Colin Bunn and CM Punk. Yep, that was the last time these two showed up here. And thing is, apparently since Planet Terry had an ongoing series in the 80s, let's have this guy have a bunch of 80s references with him. Pip the Troll. I think at the time this came, I think his last appearance was basically a Thanos one-shot. Torgo, I don't remember when this guy showed up previously. Or up, don't know who this woman is. Yondu, this is probably his first appearance since the Star-Lord second volume first arc. That was like Star-Lord Year 1. Yep, they briefly have a fight, but one of them is actually Sarah, Angela's ex-girlfriend. They make out, and she asks him a question, why did you leave? The answer is never revealed. Yeah, it's like it's brought up once and never brought up again. Okay, and then they fight, of course, Ego. Yes, Ego the Living Planet, which I find to be so hilarious. The fact that, well, the planet they go to is Ego. I'm like, okay, Ego. Wow, Ego. Probably because, and this is my personal theory of why in the world they had these characters called the Ego Living Planet. Because the Guardians of the Galaxy were there for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so have to feature a Guardians group basically just going Ego. Okay. And then there are just these couple issues. It's pure fun. Love it. And of course they have a nice send-off for that. And then comes the final 3 issues of the series. Where they basically visit this one place for like one... They have this basically... And this is basically the War of the Realms tie-in for these last 3 issues of the series, where they're all sent to Earth via Heimdall, and gotta love the fact that, well, Captain America interacts with Thunderstruck, which is so cool. The fact that Colin remembers, Cap's like, I knew you followed you, man. I think you're proud to be joining us here today. Thanks, Cap. I'm a little worried about the rest of my... And so I was like, right back as fast as we can, kid. This... Is that the Frog and Thor costume? Because it's way cute. I found it to be so hilarious because I'm trying to think. I think Colin Bunn has written Spider-Man before. So that humor is typical Spider-Man. And of course, they brawl with, and of course, there's a big, humongous battle that happens in New York City. And of course, well, look at the civilians basically being evacuated. And you also have Scourge riding on top of Ghost Rider's car. I found that to be so awesome. Him car surfing is like so hilarious. And of course, Angela's basically beating the crap out of these people, like so fun. Oh yeah, and she finds out though that her people, the angels from the 10th realm, are siding with Malekith because the queen said so. And then Punisher says, you, with the axe, want to live? And he's like, I will. Take a gun. And then you have Punisher and Scourge teaming up for a mission. This is awesome. And of course you have Frog throws his hammer down, takes down some demons. And we have the Dark Elves bringing a freaking mammoth, a mammoth. And of course the Asgardians of the Galaxy basically just blasting the damn thing. Oh yeah, and also, where's Valkyrie? She's off she's off in Valhalla. And then of course Ren shows up. And we're thinking, Ren? Oh yeah, Animal's girlfriend that she had at the end of Phyllis Defender series. Yep, and she's here to she's joining the Asgardians of the Galaxy. And of course, then we have a tie-in to issue 2. What happened in issue 2? Well, Malekith murders Brunhilde. Stabs her, and then he beheads her. On national TV. Yes, he kills a warrior on TV. And the way Jason Aaron writes this in the main book, he writes as, well, what the Rax is, oh yeah, some cosplayers get killed by these strange looking people. You have these female cosplayers getting murdered by these pointy-eared guys. Because Raxon News are going to be so stupid, they get pointed out, though, those are the freaking Valkyrie get killed by Malekith's Dark Elves. And oh no, the Valkyries have fallen. And then, of course, because Colin Bunn wrote Fearless Defenders, we have a reference to Fearless Defenders in this very issue, where Clea shows up. Yep, Clea's here to take Annabelle to... Ren to go see Annabelle, and, of course, Valkyrie. And... well, Thunderstrike, Scourge, and Throg decided to tag along, but Angela says, well, she'll stay here. Take on the Angels. And, of course, Angela does sympathize with Ren about her girlfriend basically going to get the woman she loves, which, perfectly fine. I love the fact that he worked up there. And then, of course, you have Anna now with Valkyrie, and, well... she's here in this realm, basically. She's and it looks like, though, this is something I thought was quite strange. It's like this comic basically cut out something here. It's like somebody to be killed because, well, Valhalla's falling apart. And, of course, Ren. And, of course, the Asgardians with Clea. Just battle away, fight. Well, Annabelle is basically we have it's where... it looks like the Annabelle and Valkyrie are so close to look like they're about to make out, but nope, not really. And of course, Annabelle does reunite with her girlfriend, which that's quite nice. And then she's like, "Ren, Clea, you're here." Okay, right. Yeah, and then of course, music marriage, but first, make out kiss. Oh, let's go. Yep. And then we have Annabelle saying goodbye to Valkyrie, and then she's like. She calls her basically by the chin. Says the Asgardians need to see what I see. They need to see you Asgardian fight with everything she has to fight her role. They need to see you fight. They know you're not alone. I shall miss you, Annabelle. And now, and and of course they put the thing at the next page, and she says, "Now, go kick their." Well, she says asses, that's what she says, which, okay, that's cool. And of course the final issue basically just deals with the aftermath of the event, where basically Annabelle gets Valkyrie's spear, well, mostly anyways, and then we have, Punisher side by side with Angela, and of course you have the Asgardians coming back. The Asgardians Galaxy, of course, Scourge getting stabbed by angels. I don't think he dies. I think it looks like he dies. But not really. He doesn't die. And then, of course, Angel's screw this. Basically challenges the Queen of Heaven to battle, which she wins. And, of course, you have this wonderful little panel of Sif and Ren, basically. So, Sif's your fighting style, what is it called? She's like, I call it dancing. Okay, cool. And then we have Thunderstrike and the Punisher fighting side by side. Awesome. He's and Thunder's like, Punisher, mind if I? He's like, knock yourself out, kid. Wake up. When you wake up this morning, did you think you'd be killing angels? And he's like, those things, man, I don't know what they are, but they're not angels. Yep. It's just so awesome. And of course, and then we see, looks like that Bor. Yes, Bor, as in Thor's grandfather and the father of Odin, stabs the Queen of Angels as Angela slices off one of her wings. And then, of course, Angela chops off her head, breaks the horn, and basically strange people here. Can we win? Yep, I learned a long time ago. And Punisher says, I learned a long time ago, sometimes a win looks like a loss. And someone on the ship is, what do you say, Asgardians? The water realm still rages. Got any fight left? Or I'm going to be sure disappointed. Yep. It's I will, you're right now, I'm going. where I'm going. And I already know you're not done fighting yet. And Thunder Strike's like, yippee-ki-yay. And of course, Angela speaks to the angels. Heaven is defeated. Your queen has fallen. With her last breath, she begged I would offer you guidance. I think she wanted me to take your place. A queen must be loved people, and something I can never do. And she's like, you abandoned me to the cosmos long ago. You found yourself your own way. So what's left of the angels? So do the same. And then, of course, well, look how Ren stays on board with the Guardians. Of course, they kind of go their separate, well, they go flying off. And, of course, Throg talks with some frogs. Throg talks with frogs. Angela flies through space. Scourge goes to, like, this is not hell. This is Valhalla. I do not deserve this. Yep. And she's like, you think we win this thing? Of course you are, Ren. That's what the Guardians of the Galaxy do. This book is awesome. I love this book. Shame Marvel cancels this book after 10 issues. Well, presumably due to low sales. Yeah, but this book is fantastic. 10 really good issues of fantastic series. By the way, I give this book roughly a 10 out. I think it's so damn good. Final thoughts on this brief series. Like, I kind of felt as though there was more to offer here. This book was good. I mean, yeah, they killed off Valkyrie and they killed off Scourge. They could get the series going. Nope, we had the cancel book of 10 issues. I'm like, seriously? Like, if it's not the X-Men, it seems like Marvel doesn't care to put any books that Colin Bunn is on. They keep canceling the books. Yeah. And here's the thing. Not the first time Marvel's done this. They also did the same thing with the Phil's Defenders series. An awesome series that got canceled after 12 issues. 12! Because according to what I read online, they did not make the numbers Marvel wanted, so they axed the book. Because numbers they wanted to be higher than what they got for the series. Which I'm like, really? Yeah, that's the reason why Phil's Defenders ended. Because they apparently didn't like the sales for the book, despite the fact it was really good. Oh yeah, and here's the thing. Phil's Defenders was an all-female roster. This book is comprised of at least mostly 2 to 3 women, basically 3 women, and like 4 guys. Well, they had Kid Loki here, but he left. This book is awesome, and I highly recommend checking it out because it's just so damn good. Okay, so that's it for this review. My next review is going to be another Comic Corner discussing 2 Spider-Man trades for Miles Morales. Okay, see you next video. Bye.